Be careful.
He's and Scott Higgins, both of them coked up out of their minds.
Listen to you. He's down in the basement.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
I think we should call this the Acement.
The Acement, yes.
Yeah, what do you think there, huh?
I like that. The Acement Studios.
Excuse me, I'm drinking beer. Hold on a second.
We usually drink bourbon on our end
Yeah,
when we
right.
do the podcast, so
That's all right.
feel free to enjoy yourself.
Yeah, exactly. You shoot an 8-ball if you want. We don't care, as long as it's good stories. Welcome to the Aceman. It's time to go behind the funny. Hello, I am Ace Aceto, and you'll notice that Scotty Boy is empty again. He is still in Vegas, whooping it up with his lovely bride for their anniversary, so he is not with us. I do have a co-host coming in. These young kids, they show up late. No, actually, I'm really, really excited because this guy hasn't been on in a while. He's letting himself in as we speak, so I'm stalling yet again for time a little bit. But no, we have Alan Moreau coming in and sitting in the co-host seat. He's just on his way, just coming back from work. So without further ado, why don't I talk a little bit? Our bourbon date for the evening is Horse Soldier. This is the reserve. This is the really good one. We've talked about this before. This is probably the last time I'll say it, but if you are ever at a fundraiser and you're bidding on bourbon, don't drink bourbon because you will pay through the nose. Luckily, it was for a great cause, for the Izzy Foundation, but so I'm enjoying the Horse Soldier tonight. And you know what? I'm enjoying our guest tonight. Our guest hasn't been on. So his episode was even before we were doing video, and here's our co-host. Come on in, right there.
Sorry.
That's all right, buddy.
It was definitely unlocked.
Yeah, it
I
was.
squeezed hard.
Oh, yeah.
And then I was like, I'm weak.
So welcome, Alan Moreau, to the Behind the Funny podcast. I already said, like, you haven't been in a while. But this, can you hear all right?
Check
in there?
Hey, yeah, perfect. Thank you.
But our guest hasn't been on. So his episode was way before we were even doing video. And then the last time he was on was, it was an after-show hang. Scott had booked myself, our guest, I believe Rhonda Corey, and I can't remember. I think there was one other comic on the show with us. And we all went out after dinner, after the show. And we just hit record and just kind of bullshitted, almost as if we were in a green room after a show. And so I was thinking about it. Scott and I have been talking about getting some of our past guests on who were on when we didn't have as many listeners, so that they could benefit from hearing from these folks. And obviously, it's been like 3 or 4 years since this guy's been on. So I'm sure he's had a few things going on because if you remember his episode, I believe we called him the Renaissance Man, because this guy does everything. He is a stand-up comic, a hilarious stand-up comic, but he does acting. He does voiceover. He does... he works for the Patriots during the New England Patriots during the season. So, and I'm sure I'm missing stuff on the list. So, how about a big, warm, behind the funny welcome to Mike Katrobis? There he is.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey, Mike.
It's funny
What's going
because
on?
lately we've had like guests that either we haven't talked to in a long time or we haven't, have never met. And so it was funny because I'm like, oh, well, I see Mike all the time. I mean, it's been a little while, but I see you a lot more than I've seen a lot of our past guests. So how you been?
I don't know why you're lying to your guests right now. You're lying to your listeners right now because,
Why?
first of all, it's been 5 years since you had me in, and you called me like 24 hours ago because someone else couldn't come, and you
No,
go,
I know.
"Oh, Katrobis doesn't have shit to do, so let's just put him on the air."
No.
Just
Listen.
speak truthfully, Ace.
No, I'll speak truthfully. Scott and I have been having production meetings. Believe it or not, we do meet over cigars and bourbon most times. But we've been talking about having guys like you on who haven't been on since like season 2, which because this is our 7th. I think we're going into our 8th. But you're right. It's been 5 years since your
Yeah.
initial. But then we had that after show hang, and that was maybe what 3 years
True.
ago. It was right before
3 years
the
ago,
pandemic.
yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So yes, it was a little white lie, not a total.
So
lie.
here we are again.
And here we are again. Thank you for being available. And I won't say on air who fucked me over this week, but it's someone who has screwed me over a few times, actually.
Hey,
so-
I even took some time to decorate.
I know. I noticed that's a
put my
nice sheet.
Because look at this shit right over there. I mean, come on.
Your wife is like, "What the fuck are you pulling the sheet off the bed for?"
A nice neutral color. You're really
Yeah,
popping. You know, maybe
exactly.
a little bit of sun today. You looks great in a
Yeah.
great way.
I got the ring light going. You can see it in my
I
glasses.
see it. I see it. No, you look awesome. I appreciate
messing
that you
around
did
here.
that.
Yeah.
I know we can tell. So what have you been up to?
Well, let me just say that my new phrase is
Yes.
eventually you'll hire me for something.
That's what I forgot. Wedding DJ.
Yeah.
Right.
I clean grills. I clean people's grills. I go to rich
No.
people's houses. I dismantle their barbecue and I clean it. I put it back together. Yeah, that's another side job I do.
Really?
I'm a JP. I'm a
Where the
wedding
hell-
DJ.
Wait a minute. Let's back up because
Let's
where
back
the
up,
hell
okay.
were you last year when I had to replace the guts in my grill and completely clean it? I had no idea you did this.
You know what's funny is a buddy of mine has a business.
Yeah.
So I kind of did it just on the down low. He'd call me up and go, hey, I got this address. This. So I never really announced it. I never really advertised for it. He just kept sending me work. And
Right.
as a guy that doesn't have a day job, I mean, that's
Yeah.
just quick cash during the day. I
Right.
get to get dirty. Nobody yells at me. So it's
Yeah.
nice.
Can I ask? Because for some reason I'm really interested in,
In
like
this.
what? No, like is it certain
This
tools
is-
that
this is-
anyone could get, or is this like a deep cleaning, some
Yeah.
chemical,
Yeah.
or like what is
No,
this process?
You're pulling out
It-
the heat
well, first of
plates
all,
and everything.
I do it for lazy people
Yeah,
because
Right.
everybody will scrape the top of their grill. That's
Yeah.
common
Right.
sense, right? All we do is we take the grates off, we take the next piece. I'm not unscrewing things. I'm not doing any magic. I'm
Yeah.
literally taking any piece that's movable, putting it on a tarp. I take this stuff called crud cutter, get it right at Lowe's.
Yeah.
I douse it. I have a little steam cleaner, a little steamer. I put this little nozzle on it.
Yep.
I steam it. I take some steel wool, a little
That's it.
razor blade, and I get rid of the gunk that's been sitting there and building up. I put it all back together, and now shit doesn't taste funny anymore.
And what is it? What is it like 2 hours to do?
It's exactly
Yeah.
hour and a half
That's
to 2
awesome.
hours, usually max, and I'm in and out.
So it's like a
See.
grill detail.
See, yeah.
It's
He's
like-
a
it's
grill
like
exactly
detailer.
getting your
Yeah.
detail. No, seriously, yeah. Like
Yeah.
get your car ready, get your grill ready.
I'm a grill
like-
detail. Yeah.
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 I love it. See, our audience by now, hopefully you understand, like when we name this Behind the Funny, we truly meant behind the funny. It's what we do besides getting on stage. It's
Right.
everything else.
Yeah,
that we
today
do.
so for the next 5 days.
Yeah.
So when you said the Patriots, I work production in all sports. I'm working
Oh,
Celtics
okay.
coming up for the next 5 days. I'm working on the marathon. So
Yep.
today I was picking up cameras and dropping off cameras and helping get all the spots
Oh.
set up with the and stuff like that. So yeah, this eventually you'll hire me for something.
Has anyone here
crazy.
ever done a race?
I did. I've only done a 5K, not a full
5K.
marathon.
I
I
feel
know,
like you
that
could be
doesn't count.
hungover. No, it's
Yeah.
You know what? You have to
Listen
sign
that
up. You have to-
Wait, listen to that condescending. No, it's okay. It's okay.
It's not a race.
You could wake someone up off a nap from the couch and throw them a
Oh,
pair
listen.
of like used sneakers and just be like, all right, we're running a 5K. Do you need to stretch?
There was no training
No,
involved.
no.
Trust me, I know.
But my sister, one of my sisters is running the marathon. So, and I've never been.
Oh, really?
So I'm going to go now, and I think it'll be pretty cool. You know,
Yeah.
she's been
Okay,
training and
don't
stuff.
watch from the finish line. Let me give you a
No,
couple
I'm
stories.
doing the. Well,
I've worked
is it because
both
of the
ends.
poop stuff, or is it?
dude. I've worked the starting line. I've worked the end line. So 2 years ago, I worked the finish line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was with a camera guy. I'm holding this cable. Blah blah blah. So we're literally getting the runners crossing
Yeah.
and things. People are passing out. Their
Mm-hmm.
knees snap, shit themselves, throwing up all over the place. It's disgusting.
Your body is. You're literally traumatizing your body. It doesn't matter how
Right.
much you
And-
train. Yeah.
And a million comedians have done this joke. But the faces, this adrenaline face people make when
Yeah.
they get done and they made it across the line,
Yeah.
and you're like, wow, you should go to the tent because you're
Yeah.
scaring the shit out of me.
Your body's in
right.
shock. It's
You're
like,
in
yeah,
shock.
this is
Oh
so
my
you don't
God.
die. Like your
Right.
body's like, let's not die. Let me
Exactly.
survive the next
Yeah.
40 minutes. So
It's
I
brutal.
think there's a viewing station. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is it Mile 10 in Natick or something?
Yeah.
Or, so I think that's kind of what she told friends and family, like, hey, go there. You know, I'm
Yeah,
probably gonna
because
sleep.
Mile
up in
10's
Boston
good
the night
because they're
before.
not
Yeah.
dead yet.
Right, and they can
There's-
maybe even wave without being
Right.
You know, when you're too tired to even look over.
Right,
You're like, I hear
yeah.
you and I love you, but fuck off. Like I don't
Yeah,
care.
I'm not
right
talking
now.
to you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So I
So
didn't
it's crazy.
realize. I
Is it
didn't,
not swearing, by the way? Because I definitely.
Oh
dropped the
no,
books.
no, no!
Okay.
It's
All right.
it's explicit.
Okay.
It's an
It's a
explicit
podcast.
Yeah.
And before we go, is this a little?
That's a nice cube for this.
I'd love to relapse on live YouTube. But
well,
I'm gonna do a little coffee.
Yeah,
can I
that's
do that?
fine. That's
'Cause
fine.
it's
You do
fancy.
coffee. I'm doing both.
Fancy boy.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So yeah, no, I knew that you were doing stuff with the Patriots. I didn't realize it was all different sports. So is it the
Yeah.
same? Is it the same company that hires you for Patriots, or you just everywhere?
No, so I'm in the
you
union.
must
I'm in the
have more
IB
1099s than anyone.
37 this year.
Not that I'm trying to get you in trouble with the IRS, but
I know, right?
He's like,
Yeah.
I had 3 actually.
37.
I have 3, and that's
Holy
it.
Shit.
Three. No,
Yeah,
no cash
3.
under the table. No
Yeah,
cash
no,
under
no.
the table. No, so there's different companies. So I work for I'm in the union, the IBEW. So I get
Oh,
union work.
okay.
You remember Steve Katsos?
Yeah.
Steve Katsos is like one of the higher ups in the IBEW in New England.
Oh, I
So
didn't
he
know
helps. He gets me the Patriots. But then there's other companies that'll call you up. Like I'll run camera at UNH hockey. I'll run.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah,
that.
different
Wow.
places.
So have you been to any of the Bruins games during this crazy?
No, but I'm already on the
fantastic
list.
season?
I'm already on the list for the playoffs. So I'll
Are
definitely
you?
be a game or two.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
going to be a fantastic job.
I've worked the Stanley Cup the last 2 times they were here. So
Really?
it's amazing. It's
So,
because all of our work takes place before the game. Then we get to watch the game, and then we do work after the game. So we actually get to watch the game.
So you're not running cameras. You're like setting everything up first.
I'm still just one
And then
step
break it
below
down.
having to do work during the game.
Yeah. Hey, listen, man. If I could do it, I would. That's great. Well, especially
Right.
because you've got a young son, and it gives you quality time to be home with him. Most times, I'm sure.
Yeah. No, it's being able to do 72 jobs that I can schedule on my own.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It makes it easier for me to go, okay, he's gone these hours, so I'm going to take work during these hours. And,
Right.
And you
know,
can
so-
always grab him, crack a window, give him some water. He'll be fine.
Yeah,
An hour and a
yeah.
half
Right.
at a time. I think
throw some goldfish crackers back there.
That's
Like,
it.
he'll be fine.
How old is he now?
Just turned 4.
4. Holy
great.
shit.
When I was laughing at the time you said since I was on here,
Yeah.
we were in a different house. My wife was still pregnant. Like he wasn't even born the last time I was on.
Right. And it's funny because he went from having no hair to this full head of curly hair in like no time at all. I don't know if you ever saw it. He dressed his son up as Boss Baby, one of the what was it? His second Halloween. It had to be.
Yep.
It was, and he looked like
'Cause it was
spitting fucking
yeah.
image. Like he looked just like him. But that's awesome.
Yeah,
The kid's
now
always
he's like a
got
little
smile.
surfer dude. He's
Is he?
4 wearing size 6 clothes. Like
Is he
he's
really?
got he's got my size. Well, my wife's 5'11". I'm 6'3". So I mean,
Oh yeah.
he's not going to be little.
Yeah, my kid's never going to be like that. My
Yeah,
my
you-
18-year-old is still wearing 6T shorts. He's got a 12-inch waist.
But you can shop in the boys department.
Yeah,
or the,
he
you know, the
does.
teens.
If he honestly, if he didn't wear his clothes so friggin' baggy, he wears clothes that would fit me tight, and they're falling off his ass because he's got a.
That's still a thing.
It's a thing
It's
with
back.
him.
Well, or
it's skaters.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
into skating. So
like big
yeah.
tees, like
Yeah.
it's, like the baggy tees,
Everything
girls
is
and guys,
oversized.
everything. It's genderless too.
Yeah.
I mean, true. It's just whatever.
Yep.
Like
Hey,
big-
everything's
baggy tees.
genderless.
Everything.
Wait, what's
nowadays-
gender? What are we
Yeah.
talking about? I don't even know.
There's no
Who
such
brought that
thing.
up.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. You're gonna get me in trouble.
Nope,
now.
I
No.
stopped. That's why I
don't-
stopped
I don't-
immediately.
No,
No,
I
no,
know.
no,
I'm
no,
only
no.
kidding.
Yeah,
I'm
of course
kidding.
not.
No. So what's the? I want to go back a little bit because obviously you were on so long ago. I don't know. You've been doing comedy. It says on your bio over 20 years. It's been over that.
Well, so if you want to get technical,
Yeah.
1993. So 1993, March 3rd, 1993 was the first open mic I ever did.
Wow.
So technically, it's been 30 years
30
of
years.
comedy, but I didn't do a lot in the first 10 years.
Oh.
Like I went out once every couple of months as like, oh, this is fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't get into it for the first 5 to 7 years.
Oh, okay.
So again, if you want to get technical, 30 years since I've started comedy, but
But it wasn't
20-ish since
full.
I've been doing comedy.
Yeah.
Where
yeah.
was your first mic?
Stitches in Boston.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah, I remember the Stitches. Was
Yeah.
it? Oh shit. Was that the one that Vinny Favorito hosted on Sunday nights?
I think so. I had Patrice O'Neill hosted my first.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Shit, that was yeah. See, I remember. I don't think of Patrice. Obviously I think of Patrice as a comic, but Patrice was the doorman at the Comedy Connection when I was going up to the Comedy Connection initially. He wasn't even doing comedy, you know.
Right.
So I was like, oh shit, I forgot how long he would have been doing it had he still been here. You know.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. A lot of time for him too, but yeah, that's where I started. That and Nick's were the only two places that I did for the longest time.
Yeah.
I wasn't good enough to get in the Dick Doherty circle, So.
Yeah, neither was I. I never, well, see, I started down here in Rhode Island, and I remember Charlie Hall saying, listen, get good here before you go and try and do Boston, because they'll
Smart.
eat you up, and at that time, there was a real, like, shitty Boston attitude towards Rhode Island comics, because there were some shitty Rhode Island comics that went up there.
We still don't like you.
Yeah, thanks.
I was gonna say you said you. Yeah.
Well, I don't
I'm sitting
feel it
this
as much. You might.
I'm aware of it.
Okay.
Meaning I have been embraced.
Uh-huh.
Meaning I wasn't always. But
Yeah.
I feel now I am
Yeah.
in, almost fully in.
Yeah.
But we joke, but it's still there.
It's still there.
It's still there.
Yeah.
Whether it's a joke or not, it's like, well,
Just
we're
like when
talking
Mike
about it.
did. Just
Right.
like when Mike did.
Well, yeah.
Okay,
So
yeah.
it's clearly it's in the air. Yeah.
Right.
Totally.
Right.
See, I don't know. I felt it, but I didn't feel it as much because I was going to the Connection and getting work at the Connection in Boston regularly. So I was like, fuck you if you don't like me at
Right.
Dick Dougherty's
But
rooms.
it's
I'm
also-
playing the Connection.
But it's
in
also
Faneuil
funny
Hall.
when someone down up there will be like, "Can you get me into blah 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 down here?"
Oh, yeah.
And I just go, "No,
Yeah.
no, I
Yeah.
can't. I'm trying." Or you know,
Or-
depending on the thing, it's like, "So, you want my spot?" Like,
Yeah,
he's
right.
like, no,
Yeah.
I can't. I
Yeah.
can't, nor do I want to. 'Cause
No.
you're putting me in a yeah.
Or it was, Rhode Island audiences are horrible. No, you just can't do it.
Yeah,
You
you're just
know,
not good
How
at it.
different are they?
Yeah,
really?
you just because you know what it is, because Rhode Island is like doing a thing in Southie, or in the suburbs. It's a tougher blue collar audience. They're not going to get your clever shit where you're standing in front of the microphone and not moving to deliver your setup and punchline. And and again, I'm not shitting on people that do that. It works some places, it doesn't work other places.
And even then, like now, like there is enough disparity in even just the different areas in Boston and Rhode Island where it could be vice versa. You could find, like you said, like in Southie, so you could do a Southie bar. Like there was a
Yeah.
I don't know, one of the L Street, M Street, whatever. There was this show, a buddy of mine who's now in New York ran, and like it was bros. It was Southie bros.
Oh,
so
yeah.
so if you, same thing. It wasn't Cambridge. It wasn't people looking to make you think. I mean, you know what I mean. And so like it's everywhere. I don't know. And then you got the East Side down here. And
Yeah,
so
I mean the
there's
East Side is going to be similar,
a lot of culture.
similar to Cambridge.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
exactly,
But that's why there's no comedy clubs on the East Side. Rhode Island
Fair.
School of Design isn't hiring us to do their student stuff. Sorry. Can you guys keep talking, because I'm getting texts and messages from my ex and my daughter asking me what's going on my street. I don't know if there's.
Well, that's
something going on.
interesting stuff that we might be able to talk about.
Yeah,
So you don't,
exactly. Yeah,
I'd love to give a play-by-play. I will say this.
I will give a play-by-play as soon as I get back.
So,
all right, so
yeah,
keep
yeah,
talking.
find out. So I parked here. I parked at next door, and there was enough cars in the driveway, and I thought I recognized what I thought was Ace's house, and I pulled on every door, and I knocked, and I hit the ring bell, and then I walked over here again, and I thought it was locked. It turns out I'm just a moron and weak because it was unlocked the whole time. I just literally had to just push harder. It was truly like one of those things like use your thumb. And I just was like, oh, text and Ace, it's locked, or you gave me the wrong address. And that's why I was late.
That's what we do.
and I don't know what's going on out there. Did you? I haven't seen you in a while. I know we've done some shows together. Probably last time was at least a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Yeah, something
I
like
know.
that.
I think you just had a show with. I'm friends with Kendra. Kendra, she's great.
Love
you know,
Kendra.
Kendra yeah. You just did a show. I'm up in Mass. But was it Central Mass or more out that way?
Yeah. Because I just started using her in some of my rooms because,
Yep.
as you know, there's very limited females. No offense to them in Boston. It's hard to find really
She's
good
great.
ones. You know.
She's great. No, yeah,
and I like her.
no, she's great. And she can do different rooms. She can kind of like what we were just talking about. She could hang in any room.
She can adjust.
She could tell you to go fuck yourself, but she could also.
Well, that's it. I kind of put her through a test. Like I literally put her in a country club one night,
Yep.
put her in a brewery the next night, outside at a winery in a backyard. Like I'm
Yep.
like, all right, let's see what you got. Can you?
No,
can you-
absolutely. And
And she
so,
was fine.
speaking of her and I are just about the same age, and we joke because I'm always like, "Well, Kendra, you look, no less than a year younger than you actually are." Where we joke that I look younger, and she said that we're both at an age where we're not young anymore. So actually now these 23-year-olds kind of look at me like I'm an asshole sometimes when I'm trying to make a point. And they're like the other day I literally said the phrase like, "Oh, I love that for you." And I guess apparently it's a phrase young people said, and but I meant it.
Yeah.
If I say, "Oh, I love that for you, Ace," it sounds condescending. But I mean it. And I said to a girl in the crowd, I said, "What do you think about that phrase?" She goes, "I don't like it." I go, "Oh, you don't like that phrase?" She goes, "No, I don't like when you say it." I'm like,
Why?
"Excuse me?"
You're older?
She literally goes, "I don't like when old people use phrases that young people use." I'm like, who the fuck you think you're talking to? Like, but again, it kind of and Kendra and I were saying, she's like, we're not like old, but we're not the young.
You're not the
people
kids
on
anymore.
No, we're really not. So people can look
Right.
at us like, "Oh, you don't know what we're talking about." Just like,
Right.
Like,
Well, what's funny is Ace and I are up there, but we're still the middle-aged guys because
Oh yeah.
the dinosaurs that are out there are in their 60s and early 70s. Steve Sweeney's
Right.
73,
they're
74.
still
Right.
doing it.
Yeah.
They're still doing
You
it.
know, so we're not even the old guys yet. So
No.
that's what's funny about the age thing is like I'm 52 and yeah, I'm older
we
than
still-
most of the guys up there.
Right.
And I'm
But
sure you still call people kid, right? Like, "Oh, this kid I know," and it's someone who's literally
Who's
40,
my age?
who's
Yeah.
in their 40s.
I'm 55.
But you're like, "Oh, it's a good kid out of Boston," and
Yeah.
it's like, "Hey, fuck."
Yeah, he's
that's-
not a kid.
Yeah.
No, but you're right. And I think there was a period though about I don't know maybe 7 or 8 years ago where there was a whole slew of Boston comics who, and I hate some of those Facebook groups, but in that Boston Comedians Facebook group.
Yep.
They were like, "Who the fuck is Lenny Clark? Who the fuck is Steve Sweeney?" And I'm like, "You asshole! You wouldn't be able to do open mics in that shitty bar if it wasn't for those guys. You know what I mean?" And we had it down here in Rhode Island. Who the fuck is Frank O'Donnell and Charlie Hall?
Yeah.
You wouldn't have a place to go if it wasn't for those guys. They started the comedy scene.
And I also
Yeah.
think that
You know?
that's also even a product of like you're not as everywhere as you think you are. Or
Yeah.
so just even if
Just
you
because
don't,
you're working every
even-
night at bar gigs doesn't mean
so
you're
even-
making it.
So even if you think it, don't say it because you look like an asshole.
Yeah.
And someone else that knows better might even if they're
Oh.
kind enough might DM you inside. "Hey, that's actually someone who's maybe delete just little things
I got
like that."
attacked in that fucking room because I gave advice, not in a cocky,
Just like-
not in a
yep.
condescending way. I happened to see a post someone asked, and I don't know. I just said, and it wasn't like, "Let me tell you, kid."
Right.
It was just like, "Hey, here's some things to consider," and they fucking came after me. And thank God for Nikki Luparelli, because she's kind of in between where she gets work, but people, because she was booking stuff in Worcester,
Right.
these younger comics knew her and respected her. And she went all over them. She says, "Fuck you guys. You guys don't understand who this guy is."
Yeah.
He was legitimately trying to give you advice because he has years of experience.
Yep.
Like I wasn't trying to sound like a know-it-all, you know?
And no one would ever talk the way they do if they were right there.
Oh, of course
Yeah.
not.
Be like,
Of
"Hey,
course
I
not.
got a little insight," and they would just be like, "Yeah, what's that?" But instead, it's
Well, that's why I'm being smart. That's why I'm teaching the comics of the
Yeah,
future.
you're
So
right.
whenever I go out, people know me. So
Yeah,
you
that's
I gotta-
smart.
I got a big handful of students of mine that are all out doing open mics these days. So
Yeah.
they're spread out everywhere. So I'm like, just let everybody know how good of a guy I am. Just make sure you drop that somewhere.
Yeah. Is
Someone-
that what I got to do? I got to start teaching a class.
someone just-
I've held off. I mean, I've been doing it 34 years. You'd think I could teach something, maybe. But yeah,
Move
you're
the mic-
right.
move the mic stand.
Move the mic stand.
Ugh.
Exactly.
That's the.
Yeah.
That is so day one.
Is that
day
day
one
one?
when I teach? No, it really is. I go here. So I give a list of stupid things that you'd never think about, and the first thing I talk about is it's one of those Sesame Street moments. I go, what's wrong with this picture? So I take the mic off and I start having a conversation.
Yeah.
Like, you're talking loud. I go, the mic stand is in front of me.
Right.
And I just go, yeah. So we literally do the whole. I make them all come up on stage
And move
and
it.
just say hello. Take the mic off and move the stand. I go, you guys don't understand what that does.
Right.
Yep. Even I
That
think,
commands the stage.
but also talking
You
right
know?
away.
Yeah.
I still, when I pop into a mic and watch a kid, I say kid again, could be someone 10 years older than me,
Right.
guy, girl, whoever. They take the mic, move the stand, and those 9 seconds, I start to sweat.
Right.
Why haven't you talked
Yeah.
yet? And you just, and it's a little thing, but it's like, even if you're the most unfunny human alive and you have not, if you can grab the mic, move the stand, starts talking,
Yeah.
I'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
like, I start panicking because I'm like, is it,
Yeah.
unless it's part of the bit? Because some guys, depending on what they
Sometimes
look,
they'll
they
just-
stand there and
yeah.
they stare, and it's. I remember like if you remember EJ Edmonds,
Yeah,
he would literally
yeah.
get a pop off going up, putting his hands on his hips, and just staring at the crowd because he had his little
'Cause he had
slit
those-
eyes.
yeah, 'cause he
and
was
just-
high-
and he was
high
just
as a
you could
kite.
tell he's just all right. Who's this high guy? But unless that's it, it's just like it feels like minutes.
Yeah.
and you're just sitting there like say something, say something, say something. And it doesn't have to be hi, how are you? Because we already know.
Yeah.
it's
Well,
30
so
comics.
that's step two. That's
How are you?
step
You
two.
fucking know how we are. You've been sitting here
So,
for 45
so I
minutes.
tell them,
asshole.
I go, do not ask the crowd how they're doing.
Unless you want
step
them
two.
to tell you, and even then,
Right.
yeah,
But
you,
it's just
Right.
7 comedians before you said, how's everybody
Said
doing?
it. Yeah, right.
Stop
I
it.
know. It took me years to stop doing that because part of my opening bit was talking about what a shitty night I was having. So I said, "How are you guys doing?" But I stopped doing it too after Steve Martin said it. Don't waste people's time. Just get to your material. And when
Right.
you think about it, when someone was on, when they had comics on TV, someone was on the Tonight Show or whatever, they didn't say, "How you guys doing?" No.
Right.
You just got to your material because you had four
Right,
and a half
exactly
or
right.
6 minutes.
Yep.
So I don't know. And we were talking about like younger comics, and I don't want to sound like the guy on his front porch saying, "Get off my yard," but there is sometimes a lack of respect. I worked with someone at a bar gig a couple of months ago. Kirsten Logan booked me for the Galactic Theater. It's not a theater. It's like a little bar.
It's cool.
Real
It's unique.
cool, eclectic bar.
artsy.
Yeah, very artsy, but cool.
Yeah.
No,
it is.
but one of the other comics that was on the show, like, I'm like, "Hey, man, how
Hey.
you?" Or I saw someone else, and this person was so standoffish, and then ate it afterwards. And I wanted to say, "So you're not so great." I was like, "Oh, wow. I know we're not friends on Facebook, but I follow you on Instagram." Like, I'm not saying you got to bow to me as a headliner, but I've been
Right.
around for a while. You had to have heard my name. Why are you acting like a
Be a human. Say hello.
Yeah,
Well, those are the
I almost
people.
gave
Those
away
are the
their
people
gender.
that leave. Those are the people that leave after they do a set and don't watch the professionals after them
Right.
because they want to go hit another open mic night that does
Yeah.
absolutely nothing for them. Instead
Right.
of going, why don't you stay and watch the people that are actually
Right,
doing
because
this
guess
for a living?
what? If you had done something good, I might book you on a show. I might book you on a Funny for Funs or a Royal Flush or one of the other shows that I book.
Right.
I'll never book them. I never will.
Yep.
For 2 reasons. Number one, and you know it too because you book. I want people who I like, and people who are funny first and foremost, but people I can work with.
Yeah.
There are
If
people,
I don't care how funny you are. If you're an asshole, I'll never book you.
you can find someone else.
Yeah, I could find Alan. He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
Not so funny, but he's nice.
I'm trying. All right, so
No, you're
we're all interested. What is going on the street?
Okay, so evidently my ex sent me pictures from the local Coventry Facebook page. There's about 8. First of all, there's only 8 cops in the town of Coventry. So on at a time, and there's about 8 cars at the end of my street.
Oh
Go
wow.
on.
No idea. And this is what they said. No idea what happened, but not good. Officer talking to a black car that was oddly parked here in person who lived at the home. And it's literally right around the, like I can't see any of this shit, but it's right around the corner.
Listen, I'm excited.
So,
I might.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
yeah. It's crazy.
I love townie Facebook groups.
Oh, yeah.
You
Oh,
wanna-
it's fun.
You want to talk about people that got a lot going on?
Oh, yeah.
Too much going on.
Oh,
Well,
it's so good.
honestly, in this town, this is a quiet town. It's rural. You know, it's like living in Topsfield or something like that, right? North of Boston. There was a double shooting a mile and a half from here 2 nights earlier this week.
Wow.
And at first it was accidental. They thought it was accidental. One person was dead, one person in grave condition.
Wow.
Then the day after they investigated, they said that the 2 family dogs were also deceased.
Oh man.
So
Was this
so-
domestic or was this a invasion?
this is
or...
no. They said there's no threat to the public, which tells me
it's horrible.
I think the guy went crazy, lost his fucking mind, killed the dogs, killed her, and then tried to kill himself, and it didn't work. So now he's in critical condition at the hospital. So it's like I said, it's weird because it's a quiet community, and all this shit's going on all of a sudden. So
Wow.
I'm just keeping an eye out. I got my.
Now I'll tell you,
Ring camera
quiet
on.
community. I drove out
Yeah.
to Ludlow today to pick something up.
Yeah.
I'm driving through Ludlow, and there was literally a front yard with sheep and goat on it, just eating
Mm-hmm.
the grass. I'm like, that is the greatest fucking landscaping company I have ever seen in my life.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it fenced
Yeah.
Which
in?
in the front? No,
Wow.
just
love
on
that.
the front lawn. They're all
Yeah.
scattered everywhere, just eating grass. I'm
Eating
like,
grass.
where the hell are we?
Yep.
So, Ludlow.
Ludlow, Mass. That's also the home. I think it's either Ludlow or one of the other one, Beckett, where they have the statue of Mary right off the Mass Pike with a light. You ever
Oh.
seen that?
I think I have. I'm sure I have.
Oh yeah, they're
Ludlow, Belchertown. That's all.
yeah.
over.
It's
Is that...
towards
Chicopee.
heading towards Springfield on
Yes.
the other side.
Yep.
Yep. Crazy.
That's where I went to
Great
school.
area.
Yeah. Listen, dude, I lived in Springfield for a year. It's not a great area.
Yeah,
I
and
love
only
the
a year,
friend-
right.
The Friendlies bushes. They always. It's well kept.
Yeah.
They're always.
Yep.
Sharp.
Always well kept.
Always.
And there's
sharp.
barely any friendlies left.
Friendlies is
No,
the-
they've all shut
yeah,
down.
they were all chapter
lost-
11, but they
They
still
lost all
do
their
their
money on the
hedges.
fucking bushes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was. They should have bought goats to eat the bushes.
See?
And see, we just solved
Save
that
the
problem.
restaurants.
Exactly.
Just when
I
when
want
they're all
my-
gone, get rid of the apostrophe s and just be like friendly.
Friendly.
You know, I think that'd be nice. You
Look
can
at
adopt
you.
All I wanted
it.
was
You like
a
that
fribble.
shit, huh? You like that shit?
That's
Western
good.
Mass, friendly.
Yeah.
Friendly.
Stick a sign
kinda
in.
nice.
What do we call that? Post engineer or what's the reverse engineering?
Yeah, reverse
Reverse
engineering.
engineering,
Yeah.
yeah.
Smart. Very smart.
That's good.
Yes.
So what else have you got going on besides
Oh,
obviously the sports stuff?
Well, ring announcing. I got
that's
a.
right.
I had a huge thing happen a couple weeks ago. So, the fight league that I work for in Manchester, New Hampshire,
Mhm.
the owner of that fight league is an actual UFC fighter.
Oh, really?
So about 3 weeks ago, he goes, "Hey, we're putting on a special event on a Wednesday at the Encore in Boston." I go, "What are we doing on a Wednesday? That's weird."
Yeah.
So they wouldn't tell me why. They go, "Can you do it?" I go, "I'm supposed to be in Florida on vacation." So he goes, "All right, I guess I got to tell you." Dana White, who owns the UFC,
owns
is
UFC.
filming a TV show called Dana White is Looking for a Fight. So he's going to local fighting places to try to find new fighters
New
outside of
talent.
the UFC. So we put on this private show with all the best fighters in New England, and I switched my trip to another week and
Yep.
got to ring announce in front of Dana White. So that was pretty badass.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
fantastic.
So this was how long ago you said?
was
About
like
3 weeks.
3 weeks
So
ago.
this
That's
is not
right.
aired yet, and it's kind of a thing where you might know some things that happen, and you gotta. We'll find out. The public will
Correct.
find out. Cool.
Correct.
Is it a show? Like it's gonna have episodes, and there's a
Yeah,
running
I don't know
thing?
where it's going to be. Yeah, I don't know
love
where
that
it's going to
stuff.
be, but he's been filming it, and it's so funny
Wow.
because he came in like midway through like the 5th match. That way, people are already sitting down.
Right.
He sits in this little like caged off area, so nobody can get to him. Then literally, I get up on stage for the last fight and go, "Your winner is," and I say it, and he sprints out of the back room like,
He
I don't
was
want the
out.
audience. Yeah, I don't want the audience to
Right.
clear and come talk to me. I got to go. So
Right.
I got to say hello and meet him, but I was just like,
That's pretty cool.
I made a comment while I was ring announcing. I go, because all the fighters, whenever they speak out, like when they win the fight, they go, Dana, I would kill it in the UFC. So at one point,
Yeah.
I go, Dana, Buffer's getting old. I'm just saying, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. And I just went off in a little bit.
That's great.
So,
That's great.
yeah.
That's
So it was cool. So
awesome.
I got that going on. We got another set of fights coming up in June. So yeah,
Are you allowed to say
So
what
you'll
network?
be on that. They'll obviously have clips of you announcing during that. That's
I hope so.
right.
But I know the guys that filmed the side stuff. So I think
Yep.
I'll still be able to get some footage no matter what happens. I just can't use it until after it airs.
Can you tell us what
I
network?
see.
Or
No, because they haven't even specific. So what just happened was they're waiting because WWE and UFC are now bought out by some big company.
yeah,
Really?
they're merging though, right? It's gonna be
Correct. It's
Is
under
Vince
one big
McMahon-
umbrella now.
Vince McMahon out, or is he
Oh, ready for this one? Okay, so
Yeah.
Vince McMahon is back in.
spill the tea?
So he retired.
right.
Well,
Okay.
because he said he wanted to retire, but it was because of the sexual abuse
Allegations.
scandals and all
Yeah,
the
yeah.
allegations, right? So, but
Allegedly.
now that this
did
company,
quotes.
his
He did air
parent company
quotes.
bought them,
Yep.
he's coming back in. Rumor has it, a handful of fighters are not re-upping their contracts
Because
because
of
they
that.
think that's bullshit. Yes. So
Wow.
there's a lot. So that's why they don't really know where this thing is going to go yet. But
Right.
Dana White said he would even put it on the UFC channel. They have a channel. Worst case scenario. So it's going somewhere.
Wow.
But I mean, it's a natural progression. You're getting beat up in the ring, this and that, and of course, wrestling is real. What asshole would say it isn't?
That's right.
But now that is, the Brock Lesnar's and the what's her name? I'm sorry,
Yeah, listen,
Ronda Rousey. It's still entertainment. You
Right.
got personality. You literally
Yeah.
have a fan base. Now you step into the ring, you do a little more talking on the mic. You still
Right.
you got roids flowing through you because you're
Yeah,
allowed
right.
to, and no, but seriously, it's the best entertainment in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, it truly is.
Listen, I don't follow that much on TikTok other than like hot women and funny people.
Yeah.
But I follow there's some wrestling channel and it's like they keep showing like 3 to 5 minute clips of it's got to be some documentary on wrestling because it goes through all the different periods of wrestling, and I sit there and I watch them and I'm learning and I'm like, oh my God, I didn't realize. Because when I was in high school, WrestleMania 3 with Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant, that was huge.
Oh, yeah.
And I never really followed it after that, but that thing was massive.
So I had 2 secrets to tell you guys. So
Okay.
if anyone out there is listening that's a wrestling fan, go off the camera for a few minutes because I don't want to break your heart. Number 1, there have been wrestlers that were amazing wrestlers that didn't make it in the WWE because they didn't know how to talk on the mic properly.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
They were so they have a whole
They didn't have
class
the
on-
entertainment value.
they have a whole class on monologues, basically. These
Yeah.
guys got to give monologues, and and some guys just couldn't do it. And they're like, "You're a good wrestler, but
They can't
I'm not-
talk.
I can't sell you." you know?
Right.
Number 2, so I've worked WWE events when they come here.
Have you?
1, that is the most amazing production I've ever seen in my life. They have a crew of hundreds that come in like the elves that fixed all the shoes for the cobbler, right? You blink, and all of a sudden, this massive jumbotron is on, and everything's
set
done.
up. Yeah.
Then, okay, here's where I'm going to ruin it for you. And sorry, Alan. Then they go through rehearsal.
It's rehearsed.
It's like
here's the-
crowd work. There's different
listen,
angles you can
I-
go.
no,
You know
Here's
how
the
it has
best
to
part.
end, but
I know.
So one of the fights, I got to be with the camera guy ringside. I was holding his cable. I always
Yeah.
got to make sure the cable's out of the way so the wrestlers don't trip,
Right.
blah,
So
blah,
they
blah.
can move.
Mhm.
So we have to be there at rehearsal so we know when they're getting thrown over the top to make sure they don't land on us.
right.
Wow.
Also, we're told that if for some reason a wrestler is crawling on the ground, if he comes near you, he might push you as part of the whole thing.
As part of
Get
the
fuck
thing.
out of my way. So we had to go through the whole, process of the whole thing. But I'm going to tell you
Wow.
what. Yes, is the storyline fake? Yes. But watching these guys even rehearse
Oh yeah.
what they're going to do is
Yup.
ridiculous.
It's-
They're still taking hits.
They learn how
and-
to land like, hey, here's how to hurt the least amount.
Right,
But you're still
yeah.
falling 12 feet.
But
And you
there
just,
was-
you
the
slap
other
your
guy,
arms
too.
down. Yeah.
Shit still
The guy
happens.
the guy doing backflips off the rope,
Yeah.
It's not. That's not the dangerous part.
Right.
The dangerous part is he has to trust the guy catching him
Right.
that catches him and lets him fall on him. That's the guy
Right.
that's got the worst job.
And you're
Yep.
not catching him like a cheerleader. You
But-
still are going down. Your arms. So
Right.
it's like, yeah.
Shit still happens. There was on this thing that I was watching on TikTok. I know I'm gonna fuck it up, but it was the Undertaker and who's
Mick
the
Foley.
guy that does comedy? Mick Foley, and they were in a cage, and the fucking cage, the thing, like, because again, I wasn't watching wrestling at this point. I was in college or wherever the fuck I was, probably working. But when he fell through, like he fell a good 12 or 15 feet. Or
So that
20
wasn't
feet.
planned.
No, that wasn't planned. I know.
So
And
do you know what happened?
no, what happened?
Okay.
Dish.
So what was supposed to happen in the script is Undertaker was going to choke slam him into the fence.
Yep.
A length of fence was only clipped by like wire ties.
Yep.
It was supposed to fold, but Mick Foley knew it was going to fold. He would grab
He
onto
was
the fence
grabbing.
and hang there and then fall in. So the fall was, 5 feet.
Right.
What happened was the rest of the fence gave out.
Gave out. Right.
So when he went down, it just gave.
Yeah. That
And
was
he went
crazy.
through. And he even says when he's on, so I've opened for him at the Kowloon.
Yeah.
So if people think he's doing stand-up comedy, he doesn't do stand-up comedy.
No.
He tells funny stories about
Oh,
wrestling.
okay.
One of the stories is one day in the script, he was supposed to be unconscious. And that was part of the script. He goes, I fell so hard, I actually was unconscious, but nobody knew to revive me because that was part of the script.
Because it was part of the script. Holy shit.
Precious time where someone should be rubbing his sternum,
Exactly. Yeah, right.
giving him a little couple of stab. Yeah, that's
Nope.
awesome.
Yeah.
He goes, I was out cold. He goes,
So
eventually they figured it out.
Yeah, and he's famous for putting his body through the most because
Yeah.
he would just, I mean,
Brutal.
like the razor cuts, the
Right.
razor wire, the ladder matches, that was his thing. Being
Right.
like, I'm not going to be the most in shape guy. I'm not going to be the
Right.
most. He was charismatic because
Because of that.
he was a Tasmanian devil inside
Right.
a human's body. I mean,
Yeah.
I read his book. Did you ever read his book?
I actually have, yeah.
Pretty cool. And there's so many crossovers between comedy and wrestling. Honestly,
Right. Oh, yeah,
like
because it's
the
entertainment.
the local wrestling in this little one-off, and they get better and
They
better.
get better, and then
they
they-
get picked up.
Right.
Like
right.
the Andre
Andre the Giant.
so he, to make his money, would go in other countries and do
Yep.
tours because again he's not, you're not saying one trick pony, but he's
No,
a giant.
He's a freak of nature.
If you had the Monday Night Raw like they do now, you can't
Yeah.
see him every Monday night.
No.
You need him to go make his money in all these
Yeah.
other countries and
Well,
doing
especially since
appearances.
he wasn't exciting to watch. It was more of a, oh wow, there's a giant. Like if you
Right.
brought him every week, he does the same thing. He slaps
It
you
loses
across the
its
chest.
luster. Right.
Right.
Right. It's-
Yeah. I watched his. There was a documentary on him that was really, really
So good.
It's amazing when you just saw him holding a beer can and it looked like
it's
a
tiny.
little juice pouch.
He would drink 20 bottles of wine.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
like
full
20
bottles.
cups.
I know.
Yeah. And,
It's
but
crazy.
and then he'd be like, yeah, hammered, but not,
Not
he's
dead
getting
like
up
we
the
would
next
be.
day. He's not going
Right.
to the
Yeah,
hospital.
not
Yeah.
dead.
But they also said, the story. I think Giant was the documentary. He's fallen off a bar stool or broke a bar stool, and like they can't get him off the ground.
couldn't
though.
even pick
no
him
one
up,
can.
right.
So
Nobody's
it's like
picking him up.
that's where he is.
Yeah.
You know what? He's
He'll
on the
Here's
ground.
here's a
off
pillow.
there.
Yep.
Yeah,
Here's a pillow.
exactly.
You're good.
Pretty awesome.
That's
Pretty
crazy.
awesome.
I feel like the only thing we haven't talked about yet is Star Wars. Like, do you have a link to Star Wars by any chance? Are you a Jedi? Are you the new Mace Windu? Like literally,
I
you've done
really can't talk
everything.
about it.
Oh,
I had,
shit.
NDAs.
Goddamn
Here's
NDAs.
here's the thing: is I've had a real job. I had a real job for 10 years. I was in mortgages. I hated every minute of it.
Yeah,
Now we know that as middle-aged white men, we're not
Mhm.
going to go that far.
right, right.
I'm not going to make a living doing stand-up comedy.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
how do I make a living doing what I love and have the
Right.
flexibility that I do? Well, sometimes I got to clean a nasty ass grill.
Yep.
Sometimes
You
I'm
do
I'm
something
hosting
different.
I got to DJ weddings, which I hate, but the money's amazing.
Yeah,
But by doing that, I'm able to keep doing my passion. I'm able to do I'm
Right.
shooting an independent film next week. I'm not making any money, but
Right.
because I bust my ass doing other stuff, I can go, hey, I'm taking 2 days to shoot something for
go
free,
shoot. Yeah,
things like that. So, and I also, I guess My brother taught me sales 101 when I was younger. When I first started getting into any kind of sales jobs,
Mm-hmm.
he goes, when you go to a barbecue and your friends are all talking, somebody always needs something and says, I have a guy. Be the guy.
Be that guy. Right.
Be the guy when someone's at a barbecue and goes, God, I need a fucking clown that can DJ while he's juggling fire. Oh, Mike Petrobus.
That's
think
true.
you can do that.
That's
right?
true. That's right.
Right. And then, so I started doing that. But then for years, as you know, comedy business, this group hates this group. They don't want to talk to this group. It's a lot of that stuff.
Right.
When I met the woman I married now, she taught me one of my second favorite phrases ever. Be the person everyone wants to work with.
Yep. Yeah.
Change my attitude. I don't want to talk shit. Well, I'm going to talk shit about people because we're comedians, but
Right.
not in an angry way, in
Right.
more of a, can you believe that shithead kind of
Yeah.
way. But when I go to a gig, whether I'm running the gig or on the gig, I'm not going to go sit in the corner. I'm going to make sure everybody's happy. I'm going to make sure I'm welcoming to people. And
Right.
it's changed my attitude to the point where I'm making a good living
Right.
doing what I love
You're
without
probably
sitting behind a desk.
you're probably working more than you ever did because again, like I said, if I'm booking a show, I'm looking for people who I like working with.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of funny people out there.
Mhm.
You know, I want to work with people that I enjoy working with, that I enjoy
Right.
hanging out with. That you
Totally.
know,
I can say, without being too corny, energy is real.
yeah,
And I, especially earlier on, you listen to people that have done it, and you go, all right, hey, and then you give that advice as if you're taking it, but you're really just repeating it. Where now I
so you're learning it,
right,
Yeah.
but I was full of shit. Where you go,
Yeah.
oh yeah, you know, I'm thankful for thanks for the stage time, thankful for the thing.
right,
But now, no, I literally
and thankful,
am actually
Yeah.
thankful, and my career started
Yeah.
because I meant it.
Right.
And the energy around. So now if I'm in a green room and I'm busting balls, I bust balls with every young comic,
Yep,
but not one young comic would ever be like, Alan doesn't actually help me.
right,
So like I
right,
will bust balls, but it's not to feel good.
Yeah.
I'll bust balls and then be like, by the way, I recommended you to someone, and then they go, oh yeah, they text me. It's like, yeah, that was
yeah. I recommended you
or
to
like
them.
someone's like, do you know who? I was like,
Yeah,
actually, did they reach out to you? Yeah, I said your name. I said you can give
Yeah.
them 5. And I mean,
Right.
like, if it's
Yeah.
5, it's 5. If it's 15, it's 50. But like, again,
Yep.
it's not to get the praise, but it's like, dude, it's
no,
so
it's
much,
paying it forward. It's
and you feel so much better.
the right thing.
You
yeah.
feel so much better, dude. You could be a dickhead, but like, come on, man.
Why?
You're gonna hit a wall,
Yeah.
and then you gotta once you get a reputation, it's like,
No one wants to work with you, and then you won't be working.
and the
with
energy is
people.
like you said, sitting in the corner. It's like, I don't even feel good inside being near you.
yeah,
Even if you're just busting, it's like no, but like
true.
there's some people that
So
only
true.
bust balls, and it's like, all right, so now your personality is busting balls, but you actually at no point
Help.
are nice
Right,
or
right.
or helpful or say something kind, and it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
those
good.
are people I haven't worked with in years for that same reason. Because again, there's plenty of funny people, but if you're funny and you're nice and you're fun to work with, that's who I want to be around.
Yep.
If I'm,
Totally.
if you're leaving your family for the night to go do a show, don't you want to be with you don't want to be sitting there going, I
No.
can't believe I got to do this show tonight.
Right, I'm
I
with these
really
guys.
don't want to
It's such
because I'm
work.
with these guys. You want to be like, you know what? I'm getting to work with so and so tonight. I love working
Yep.
with them.
Yep.
You
Yeah.
know? That's and that's
how was the gig? It was all right, but I got to hang out with so and so. You know
Exactly.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead of like, yeah, it was work, man. Ooh,
No.
yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Or you're with someone you like, and you're all work. It's one of those nights, and you're all laughing about like how much work you just had to. You're
Yeah.
fighting on stage, but it's like now we get to enjoy
We-
the off stage and the
literally
sweating. Oh yeah, dude, I'm sweating too. You know.
I was in Florida I think I was in Florida the week after you. I went down to visit. So I went down,
Yep.
I go on this golf trip I've been going on for like 20 something years. And at the end of the golf trip, I was talking to Mary Ellen and she was like, "Oh, you're going to be down here? When are you leaving?" I said, "Well, I'm leaving Thursday night." And she was like, "Oh," she goes, "I got a funny for funds on Saturday." I said, "Well, do me a favor. If you can book me something for Friday, I'll stay until Sunday. If you can give me a Friday and Saturday." Friday night was at her 55 plus community that she lives in. 35 people, but they were so much fun. They had a blast.
Nice.
And it was a triple headliner show. It was me, this guy Lou Angel Wolf, and this guy Johnny Mack. Both guys are down in Florida headliners. afterwards, we went out, we hung out, fun. The next night, we did the Funny for Fun show. And it was, she lives on the upper west coast of Florida, like about an hour north of Tampa. And
Okay.
I've said it, you know how we have Dunkin' Donuts on every corner? They have churches on every corner. And,
Oh, yeah.
And there was a couple of church groups there, and they did not like my religion stuff. I'm like, I'm making fun of
Really?
myself about
Yeah,
being
right.
Catholic, but way too heavy. Maybe it was because it was during Lent. It was right around Easter time, and maybe
That might have been
shouldn't
it. Yeah.
You know, it might have been. But it was funny because after the show, we all went to like Applebee's, and it was the four of us, the other two comics, myself and Mary Ellen. And Mary Ellen looked at me and she goes, "This was so much fun. I know it was a rough crowd tonight for everyone." She said, "But this is what I live for.
Yep.
This is what I love, is the camaraderie and the hanging out after when you can. Obviously, sometimes you can't, but
Right.
when you can, I love that. I love going to some like late night fucking diner or Denny's or something after
Yeah.
a show and just chilling out with other comics. That's actually the last time you were on the show.
Right.
That's what we did. We had done that show. I think that one was for the. Was that one for the? There was one for veterans that we did, and then I think there was one. It was in a church, and I think Roman.
I think it was the church.
It was the church one where Roman
it was the
said
church.
something. Roman said something. Roman Pierce, and he said some joke, and I don't know if he said pussy or some word. And I looked at Scott. I go, okay, so the bar has been set.
Right. We're good.
You know, he just tested the waters. It didn't work so well.
Was
now
it
we know where to
was
go.
it a clean show in a church, or just kind of? It was just one of those. Well, figure it out.
Cleanish.
It was.
Like,
That's
yeah.
what it was. It was like
Yeah.
one of those. Just don't say, the F bomb all the
Right,
time.
right.
All right. Well, he didn't say the F bomb. He said something else that, hit someone. But we all went after, and we just hung out, and that was so much fun. I love working with people that I like.
Yeah.
So
I'm genuinely curious about what's going on the street right now.
I know.
I'm totally into everything we're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
very
you guys
into
are
it.
going to be running out the door when this.
Oh
ends.
my
Yeah,
god!
exactly.
I'm gonna investigate.
Yeah.
I might flash a badge. My Boys and Girls Club badge. Or just be like, hey, I'm here. Just research.
just
something.
checking in
Yeah,
the
whatever.
kids. Is the
Does you guys
okay?
need anything?
Yeah,
Anyone
right.
need anything?
I know. You'd be like Jim Carrey. It's okay.
Hmm.
I'm a limo driver.
I have a license. Just, yeah.
So what kind of have you? I know we both are part of Boston Casting and stuff. You do way more than I do, just because I have the day job, so it precludes me from being able to do anything. But anything coming up? Are you auditioning for anything? I know I just got a notice yesterday. 2 days or 3 days ago, they were looking for stand-up comics and improv actors. I don't know what it was
Yeah,
for.
So all right. That's what I teach my classes through Boston Casting.
Yeah.
You'd think I'd get a personal email telling me to submit, but
Yeah, no,
I
you're
just
on
get
the
the general-
blast with everyone
but
else.
but here's the problem. It's looking for comedians and improvers. What do they ask for? Headshot and resume.
Yeah. So
the hell
it's-
does that do?
Right.
So
you have no
don't-
idea.
It's not
if
like they're
anyone's
asking you to
funny.
do stand-up comedy, right?
Right.
All the open mic kids can submit to that thing, and they might go, "Oh, I like the look of this one. We're going to take this." So
Right.
that's a load of shit. But there's a couple movies coming to town. One of them I don't know the name of. The other one is Good Burger 2.
Good
You
Burger
ever-
too.
Love it.
Yeah.
Come on.
So
Thank
I've
hey,
done-
what we've
and
all been
it's-
asking for.
well,
I mean, you took the words out of our
I hate to
mouths.
say it. It's filming down here in
Yeah,
Rhode Island
it is.
too.
Yeah.
So I've done 7 auditions for that movie in the past week.
Have you really? Wow.
Small parts, very
Yeah.
small parts,
Yep.
but stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
That's
One day
awesome.
was angry customer. Next day was security guard. Next day, and they all get like 2 lines. You know what I mean? They're not-
right. Hey, but it's it's a credit. It's something. Are you sad?
It's right.
You're in the union.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'll finally have something to use on stage. Hey, you're going to see him in Good Burger.
Yeah.
Everybody goes,
Right.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Good Burger 2? There was a Good Burger 1?
until they cut it, they cut the scene or they cut that line. That's what happened with Scott. He was in Zookeeper, and he had he was in it, And then he goes, yeah, I looked for my scene. I couldn't even find it. It wasn't even in the movie.
Dude, Tony V was in the new Ghostbusters, the one with the girls,
Was he really?
and he had a good speaking line. They fucking cut the whole scene
They
right
cut
out.
the whole scene? Wow. Wow. Yeah, you just never know. That's the thing.
Well, it sucks
that's
too
why
because
it's a job.
then you don't get residuals.
Oh, if they cut your shit.
You get the paycheck when
Right.
you do it, but
But
the
you
only way
don't
to get the residual check,
is it
I mean,
has to
for
be
me,
used.
I got a check last week for Vinny Paz for $1.72. So
Look at you.
yeah,
Look
that's
at
right.
you. You were the ring
why I'm-
announcer in
That's why I'm
Bleed for
scratching
this.
the beard.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
was
I
gonna say you like Seinfeld. You stack them up and then just when he got the super terrific happy hour. You know
Yeah,
that
yeah.
episode where he was signing 10-cent checks.
10-cent
and his,
checks, yeah.
and his hand was cramping up.
I think
There's a kid on TikTok. He played. Did you ever see Peter Pan with Robin Williams?
Yeah.
He
Hook.
played
Yeah.
Rufio, the kid with the red spikes that
Yeah.
So that kid has a TikTok,
Yeah.
and like every couple of weeks he does
He goes on.
residual check, and he has an effing stack of residual checks, and he'll go, we're gonna pick one, we're gonna open it, and we're gonna decide what I'm gonna have for dinner. I'm like, oh, $2.72. I guess it's fucking McDonald's tonight. He'll open one for
Holy shit.
$100 and have steak. So it's funny that you say that, but yeah, it really
Wow.
is 10-cent check. I got $1.72 last week.
Wow.
That's great.
And I don't know if the audience heard it, but you played the ring announcer in Bleed for this, right?
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
That was awesome.
Yeah, the end of the movie, the final fight of everything. I'm like one of the
Yeah.
last lines.
Yep.
When he gets announced as the winner. So
That's awesome.
That's great.
sorry to give
Yeah.
away the movie.
No. Yeah. Hey, listen, if you follow Vinny, you know he's a 5-time champion.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Vinny comes to
He'll-
all the shows
he'll let
in
you
Rhode
know.
Island. Vinny comes to all the shows in Rhode Island. I love Vinny. I actually auditioned for that, and I auditioned for the brother-in-law or the Vinny's sister's boyfriend, and it was written. It was written as a beefy Italian guy, and of course I walk in all 5'6" of me, fucking
You're
not
beefy,
beefy
come
at
on.
all. I'm beefy
Yeah,
in the
very
midsection.
beefy.
That's it. But
You're more tofu-y than beefy.
I walk in, and the line that I had to say, and here's how I know I love Angela at Boston Casting, but I didn't get cast. I deliver the line. The line was, I look at the girlfriend. I go, "Fuck is wrong with you?" Right? I delivered it. She goes, this is wrong. I love you. This isn't you though. This part isn't you. I need a big beefy Italian guy. You're not it. She drags me in the other room where there's all the other casting agents for the movie. She goes, "This is Ace Aceto. He's from Rhode Island. We got to find a goddamn part for him in this movie." I'm like, well, that was good. And then never heard back. Nothing.
She's the queen of that.
I love her. Don't get me wrong, but I get it. I don't know what the hell I would have played, but I would have loved to have been in it. You
Right.
know, especially considering again they were filming, some of the stuff down here in Rhode Island.
Down the street, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hocus Pocus was in the.
Yeah, it was in
my town.
Providence.
Yeah, it was a bunch of.
Oh,
different
that's
places.
right.
And
Lincoln, Cumberland.
They built the
A set,
town.
yeah.
At a big park.
right next
just
to your
open
Boys
space.
and Girls Club, right?
Right, yeah, right down the street.
Yeah.
And a whole bunch of kids from the town got in.
Yeah.
Like the children. I mean,
Yeah.
background dancing or whatever.
Right.
I applied.
Yeah, you didn't get it.
Fucking snubbed.
No.
Snubbed.
Snubbed. Hollywood
Someday,
doesn't know
Alan,
what they're
someday.
missing. They don't know what they're missing. No, man. Listen, I don't want to keep you too long because I know you got other shit going on, but I appreciate you
Always.
coming on and giving us an update on what's going on. Anything you want to promote on here or any news? Let me ask you this because we normally end with a funny bad gig story, and I know you probably told us 3 of them 5 years ago because if you've been doing comedy for longer than 6 months, you got plenty of funny bad gigs. Any happened in the past 4 or 5 years that you could think of that are sticking in your mind that they're so bad that they're funny?
God, I don't even know if I could call them funny. I really can't.
They're still too painful. You haven't gotten past them yet.
It still hurts sometimes.
Yeah. But it's funny
I-
to other people when you tell it.
Yeah, I don't even know if this one's even going to be funny for you. I
All
got hired for a private gig in a bar.
Yep.
Now, what I thought they rented out the bar, and I thought because it sounded like this whole big thing.
Right.
Come to find out, it was about 20 of them, and it was almost Applebee-ish. So we're just in a corner of a restaurant
Of the
in a bar.
Applebee's.
There was sports on 72 TVs, customers fucking everywhere,
Oh
and they
my
said,
God.
"Don't worry, we have sound." It was like a Mr. Microphone. The box was this big. They put it on a table, and
in
I had
front
about
of the 20 people.
4 feet of cord. Like I couldn't even. I literally had to stand like this.
Well, and so that would have come in handy. You would have had if you had the mic stand, you could have just kept the mic in the stand and stood behind it,
Yep.
going
Nope.
against what you teach in class.
Awkward as hell.
Yeah.
Waitresses coming over, putting plates down. It was like I wasn't even there. 2 people that were literally sitting right next to the microphone thing were the only ones paying attention.
Oh my God.
How much time? Too much, obviously.
35 minutes.
Oh
It
my
felt like
God.
7 days.
Oh my God. And
So, yeah,
and you know what we're thinking? Who booked that?
Me.
Oh, yeah.
I
That's
got hired
crazy.
for a private gig. They
Yeah,
offered
right.
me decent money. I go, well, if they're going to pay me that kind of money,
Right.
must be
Yeah.
an okay
And
gig.
you know what? They
Yeah.
got sound, so
Yeah,
it'll be
they got
fine.
sound.
They got sound.
Right.
So they know what
It-
they're doing.
on paper, super gig.
Right. It literally sounded like that thing, like the what was it, the Dundies on The Office, where they were in the back of Chili's or Applebee's on
Yeah.
the microphone giving out the awards, and people are walking by and shit.
Right.
Oh
That's
my
exactly what it was.
God. Oh, that's funny.
So, yeah,
So
good
all
times.
right. Thanks for sharing that. What can we promote for you? What do you got coming up?
Just I got a lot of small shows coming up, but I do have a lot of activity happening. So follow me, Mike K Comic, on all social media. It's all the same name, Mike K Comic. Follow me, and hope to see you at a show.
And your website is Mike K Comic as well. So
That's
Google,
it. I keep it simple.
Google Mike K Comic. You'll find all his information. Well, listen, man, I can't thank you enough for coming on. We, in all seriousness, we have been talking about having you on again, and when this other
Anytime.
person canceled out, seriously, if you end up getting in on any of these parts for
I'll definitely buzz
Good
you.
Burger 2, let us know. We'll have you in
Let's talk
studio.
about it.
Well, or we'll have you in studio on while
I'd
you're
love
down here. If it's
I'd
not
love
a
it.
16-hour day to play the security guard, you never know. I know how those go.
Yeah, we certainly do. And let me know what happens down the street too, because now I can't sleep.
Yeah, I will. I'll text you later on. My
right.
phone's blowing
Sounds
up
good.
as we're talking. Thanks, bud. Have a good
Bye,
one.
boys.
Bye,
Take
Mike.
care.
And that was Mike Katrobas. Love it. He.
That was fun.
I knew he'd be a great guest. I
Yeah,
mean, he was a
yeah,
great
yeah.
guest a couple of years ago, but
Yeah.
um,
He's always
I-
got stories.
I knew
like you
he
said, with all he's got so many stories.
because
and little
again,
tidbits and-
he does so many different things that he, there's a ton of stories from every job.
Right.
You know, I knew he'd fill the time and
course.
with nothing.
Yeah.
But no, we can't thank you enough for listening. I can't thank you enough for coming on.
Thanks
and,
for having
and
me.
being
Man, it was
a
fun.
co-host.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
been
that
a
was
while.
great. Yeah.
We got to get you back on for your own episode
Totally.
too.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
We'll talk.
last time you were on, was it the new comics one that we did in the garage?
Yes. So
Right?
we
And you're not even new anymore.
no,
so.
we did it. It was 2 or 3 of us.
Yeah.
It was a
Yeah.
panel.
It was a panel show. It was you. Was it Derek Fonseca who was here last week?
Was Brad on it?
Oh, maybe
or
Brad?
JB? No,
I can't remember.
I don't know. I think I've
But it
done
was in
this
the
twice.
garage.
I've done this twice.
Yeah. Were you down
one,
here
One time it was a panel, and then one time
in the big
we
room?
were in the big room.
Yeah.
And that was more than I know it was 3.
It was more than
It was
3.
actually, you know what? It was about literally 3 years in a couple months.
Was it?
So it was like
so it was
probably
like
2 years, like 11
it
months.
was
And I know there's a
a
reason
little bit
why
before the
it's-
pandemic.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
people I was talking to at the time. Yeah, it all makes sense. different
Uh-oh.
life situations now.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes
So,
sense.
Yeah.
No,
Totally.
no, we got to get you back on.
Totally.
Absolutely,
Yeah, yeah.
because we want to revisit with you and learn a little bit more about what's been going on.
Yep.
Because you alluded to it earlier, and a lot of people have been saying. We had Anthony Smith on a couple
Yep.
of weeks ago,
Yep.
and he was like, as soon as I got rid of the ego and was like, instead of being like, how come I'm not on that? I'm
Right.
better than them. As soon as I got rid of that, I got as much work as I
Stuff
want.
happens,
And that's
yep.
the thing. Once you realize, and Scott and I have talked about it, once you realize that okay, just because you're not booking me doesn't mean I'm not getting work. So I'm not going to wrap myself up so much in not getting booked by this booker or this booker. And someone said it earlier in the year, and I keep repeating it. Instead of worrying about trying to get booked by people who don't book you, worry about making the people that do book you
Always
happy.
have you back, and then they
Because then they're gonna have you.
Yep.
You know.
And then, like you talked about earlier, there's people that you let's say like, I can't, this person, or this person doesn't view me the way someone else does. This, that, and this, that. And then guess what? Someone who's under them moves to. This happened. There's a couple people that I now have in New York that, and I know this sounds too. Having the relationship with them is more meaningful than the one that I was worried about here. Where now I can go to New York and I will close out a showcase. And
Right.
Hey, do you need me to help? They're like, nah, man. Like these are my young comics. You're gonna close out 15 minutes. Yeah, you're fine. And it's like I don't have to. You don't want me to bark? They're like, no, fucking let's go get a coffee.
Right.
They'll bark for us. Or
That's awesome.
But like that person was the same one that when him and I were. Oh, I hope we can get in at this venue. And now it's like he's like, yeah, I book.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, I book, and that person would have to ask me for a spot.
I remember going by, and I won't throw anyone under the bus, but I remember going by a club one night, and I had done a show. I had done a private show with Justin McKinney.
Yep.
And the two of us were going to this other club to try and like show our face.
Show face.
And it's like, neither of us is working at that other club, but and listen, I've got a full-time day job. You've got a full-time day job. Like Mike said, I'm not getting famous. I gave up on chasing the dream of getting famous a long time ago when I didn't move to New York in the 90s. I'm fine with that. I have a great day job. I have a great family. I got great kids. I just love getting up on stage doing comedy. I get to do the same job that Bill Burr does. I just do it to a lot smaller people for a lot less money. But I still get the enjoyment out of it. But I remember, and now I'm looking like Justin's doing fucking great without that club. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It doesn't matter. And that's what I want to tell. I've had some younger comics cancel out for a show that I booked them on for another show that's at a club. And it's like they're not paying you as much, and you're chasing that thing thinking that you're going to get some big opportunity out of that club.
It'll come anyway.
And listen, I get it, because there's like, oh, but I'm going to open for someone. There's not a lot of people that get that opening spot gig from opening for someone. It does happen sometimes, don't get me wrong. But it doesn't happen all the time. A lot of times those national headliners have their own person. You know what I mean? Drew Dunn just posted, and we had him on the show years ago. He's opening for Dane Cook on the rest of his, the rest of his tour, which is fantastic.
That's awesome.
Drew didn't get that because he opened for someone at a club for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. He got it because he's a fucking beast on stage and he's headlining his own shows. And Dane probably saw him at a theater and said, "Hey, I want to get
a half hour before me." Or
absolutely.
No, absolutely. Yeah, no, totally. And you learn that as you go. Some learn it later than others, and kind of back to the whole like, what's worth my time, what's not. What am I giving energy to? What am I not? So
it's just frustrating when you see someone making that mistake and you're like, listen, my Royal Flush shows aren't going to make you famous, but I'm paying really well and they sell out. In fact, I got another one coming up April 29th. I'll give a little plug for that. It's going to be at the Comedy Park in Cranston. The last two sold out. I anticipate this one selling out. It's going to be a great show. I got to get you back on one, because you were on one of the ones down at the Newport Grand, right?
7 minutes.
Yeah,
7.
Yep.
And
It was the
and
7
on
minute
stage, and you do your best, or do your best 7 minutes.
7
and
minutes.
It's like, and you're like looking back, you're like, oh man, I don't even say any of those words on stage, or like material that was now like, hey, you want to hear something I used to do in my second year, or like, hey, want to hear a first year bit? You know what I mean, in a good way, but meaning like now, like no, that was great. That was at Newport Grand. It was one of the last ones there.
Yeah,
you had
they
been
closed.
talking. Yeah, I remember you were like,
You know what's funny? You know how I started it back up? My cousin sent me a video. I was thinking about starting it back up, but again, when I was doing it at Newport Grand, It was a set budget. It was just
Mm-hmm.
book the show every other month, bring in the comics. We love it. And, that place fit like
Oh, it was
500 people, and it was,
full.
yeah, it was a free show for the people that were there, so it was full every time. But what happened was I was thinking about it, and then my cousin sent me a YouTube video, and it was some guy exploring abandoned buildings in New England. And the guy went into Newport Grand, and he went into the event center, and you saw it was just bare, empty,
So it's
nothing.
empty. Like
It's
the place
like-
is just like, hey, they shut it down and no one, and it's just like boarded.
boarded up,
Boarded up,
and
yeah.
and like holes in the walls where they pulled shit off and whatever. And the stage isn't even there anymore. Like the lights, everything got stripped. And all of a sudden, when you walk out of the event center room in that hallway where the elevator came off, there was a pile of Royal Flush posters, and the guy on the video picks it up and goes, "Huh, Royal Flush Comedy, October 11th. Oh, that's interesting." And I was
so
like,
cool.
"Holy fuck! If that's not a sign to start doing it
Yeah.
again." And so I did the first one at the pub on Park.
Yep.
Did the second one at the Comedy Park.
Yep.
Doing the third one at the Comedy Park, and then I got another one coming in June at the pub on Park.
That's cool.
In fact, I haven't booked that one yet. Maybe I'll
All right,
have
yeah,
you on that
we'll-
one.
we'll talk.
We'll
Yeah,
talk
for sure.
But listen, folks, thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for those that listen. We really appreciate everything. If you enjoy the show, please tell a friend about us. That's the best way to help grow the podcast audience. Tell a friend about us. Also, if you can, go on and wherever you listen to podcasts, give us a 5-star written review. That helps to push us up. It's all about algorithms now.
Yep.
That helps push us up so that when someone searches, I want to listen to a new comedy podcast, that actually helps. So 5-star written review. And next week we've got, we've got Matt Barry coming on, a Boston comic, hilarious guy. I love this guy. He's out of New Hampshire. Have you ever worked with Matt?
I have not, but I know Matt Barry.
Very,
Yeah,
very,
yeah, yeah.
very funny guy. I worked with him a couple of years ago, pre-pandemic, and I'm like, I got to get him on the show. And just because he's a self-professed pothead, I booked
was
him
just
on.
gonna say,
I booked him
420.
on 420.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yes,
that's great.
I
That's what I
even
figured.
said it to him. I said, "How funny is it? I'm booking you on 420." He goes, "So fitting."
Does he have the beard?
He's got the
still?
beard. He looks like
because he wasn't always
Jesus.
like that. He was clean
No,
cut,
he used to be
and
clean
then-
cut.
Yeah.
I know. I almost didn't recognize him when I worked with him because I'm like, this kid looks familiar, but I never worked with him. And then I saw pictures when
Yep.
he was,
Yeah.
no beard, short hair.
That's great.
But he's gonna be a lot of fun. So thanks so much again for listening. Thanks for tuning in. And other than that, we will talk to you next week.